So, as the Colts continue to try to line up options, and there's not many good ones. I mean, listen, not trying to denigrate players, but for a team that has a real good roster, when your starting quarterback is going to be out 5 to 12 weeks, and you're still not even really sure where he is based on the way he ended his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles. So missed practice time and I guess smoothing over the bruised ego that he dealt with for about a year or so in Philly. That is lost time that could be very problematic. Same with Quentin Nelson. Mm-hmm. But there's no real great answers. I threw out Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Listen, we haven't heard.
He just feels really old.
It does. Well, so does Phillip Rivers, which is where we get to. Phillip Rivers apparently leaves the door open for an NFL return. Now, the caveat here is that he's thoroughly enjoying coaching the high school team, the Catholic school down in Alabama, and he said that he would not leave until after the high school season, which is, at the earliest, early November, depending upon how good they are, maybe a little deeper into the middle part of November into Thanksgiving. No thanks, Phillip.
Great. What's the point?
Are you kidding me?
What?
It's like Andrew Luck saying that. That's one thing.
Teams may be desperate, but I don't think they're that desperate. Right? We're going to wait. We're going to punt for another 2 months, 3 months actually, and then we'll decide, okay, yeah, we want you, Phillip.
We're going to pass.
You're going to drive us to the championship. What? That makes no sense, first of all. It's just, I get where he's coming from because he committed to that actually 2 seasons ago. He committed to being the high school coach of that squad, and so to go there, spend a year with the Colts, and then go back, and then go down there, and then bounce on them before the season even gets going. Yeah, that would be wrong. Mm-hmm. I can see where he's coming from, but why even say that you have the interest in coming back? Because quarterbacks don't join teams in the middle of the season and all of a sudden lift them to, heightened expectations that were there, because that makes no sense to me.
No, that's why I lay it out that way. It's like the Victoria's Secret model, the poor slump in the corner who's terrified to talk to anybody.
That's right.
I will date you. Yes. It's not quite the Phillip Rivers at this point.
No.
It's not a Victoria's Secret model. It's just, it's an odd way of letting us know that he's not fully through with football, which I certainly respect. The guy's always been a grinder. We've always loved Phillip.
Nothing against him.
No, the numbers will eventually get him into the Hall of Fame. You can make the case. I know it's hard to brush championships aside, but just in terms of, the first day he stepped on the field to the last, snap he took, Phillip Rivers was better more than Eli Manning was. I know the championships changes the entire specter of that guy. I get that. But, in terms of stats, in terms of being a top 10 quarterback, a couple of years where Eli probably was never really that. Phillip Rivers has had a tremendous Hall of Fame worthy career. And that might work. I don't even want to throw out a name. I don't want to speak it into existence, but let's take a team that was a playoff team a year ago that has lofty aspirations this year. Let's say, week 5 or week 6, one of those teams deals with a debilitating injury, ruptured Achilles, knee shatters, some bad back issue, right? And that player's done for the season. Well, then maybe that's something where, all right, let me just call up Phillip Rivers, microwave him for a week, immerse him in the playbook, and get him on the field, and at least he won't be lost, rather than handing the reins to a kid with training wheels. But you can't do that for the Colts, because the Colts, without luck, pardon me, that's what you really want. Without Carson Wentz and that schedule, they could be 1-4.
That's right. It's over already. It doesn't make sense to bring in a guy like Phillip Rivers. And also, you think about that kind of timeline. Carson Wentz will already be back. You know what I mean? He'll be healthy already.
They hope.
Hope.
Well, if it's the back end of the estimate, 12 weeks. Yeah, you know what? He would be back.
Yeah,
you're right. All of August, September, he'll be back. True.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so it doesn't make any sense, even unless you just are now sour on Carson Wentz and you just have no desire to deal with the injury-plagued situations of his career, and you just want to move on and try to build somebody else up. But that also doesn't make any sense, because then you're not building for your future. So you might as well go with Carson Wentz, who might surprise you when he comes back from injury, whenever that may be. The Colts are in a very tough situation. We hit this the other day, BT, and in the same, and the more I've thought about it over the last couple of days, the only situation that makes sense, the solution that makes sense, is Nick Foles. Nick Foles needs to, I don't know how they do this, because he can't really say it without tampering with the Chicago Bears, but this reunion needs to make sense, because it It feels right. There's familiarity. Nick Foles is never going to see the field in Chicago. He's basically an insurance policy should Andy Dalton get hurt or Justin Fields just isn't ready.
Yep.
Nick Foles is not going to play as a Chicago Bear. So the trade, that trade is the only one that fixes this solution for the Indianapolis Colts. We're hearing nothing about it, though. There's no inklings that this could be happening. So it may not be in the cards, but it's the one that makes sense to me.
Well, here's what I don't get about the whole Foles thing. I mean, the third quarterback, if I'm running a football team, my third string quarterback is going to be either a young kid with a big arm and what I anticipate to be a big learning curve based on either a lack of reps in college or a smaller school or a totally different skill set where he's got really quick feet, quick twitch guy, but also will have a pretty steep learning curve based on, limited reps and where he's coming from. So it makes no sense. Why would you have a hardened veteran as your third?
No,
it makes no sense.
The third string quarterback should be a project.
Absolutely.
It's a guy that you're not going to stick with once the final roster, you cut down to 53. He'll be a practice squad guy.
Yep.
He'll be out there to, throw around with the scout team and things of that nature. He's not someone who's got a Super Bowl title, who's been really good at points in his career, bad at others, but still, he's a reliable and dependent backup in the NFL. He's not even going to be in a backup situation, so he's wasting time on Chicago's bench. Again, this is still early in camp. This could still happen at some point, but if you're the Colts, there should be an urgency to make something like this happen, and Nick Foles is the perfect solution for them.
I just feel I'm getting a little Nick Foles fatigue here, Teague. I got to be honest with you.
But who else is there?
I said Cole Phillip. Rivers you can call.
Other than the old guys. Other than the old guys.
Beg Andrew Luck. Beg Andrew Luck.
I don't think Andrew Luck has any desire.
Make him change his mind.
BT, it's been 3 seasons, right? 3 seasons or 4? Is it 3?
This will be the third.
2018 was his last.
So this will be 19. This will be the third season he's not playing.
It's a long time not to do anything.
I'd rather have Andrew Luck off a 3-year hiatus than Phillip Rivers off a 3-month hiatus.
It's true.
I'm calling Andrew Luck and I'm begging him.
That's a very good point.
I'm appealing to his championship senses.
Yeah.
Hey, look what we did that we didn't do for you the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, we'll make it right for you.
As I think back to Andrew Luck, he retired because he was tired of being injured, right? He was tired of the grind of staying healthy. So it wasn't just I'm preparing for a season. It was I got to rehab from this injury. I got to rehab from this injury, and I also got to get acclimated with the team and do all this stuff in the offseason. A lot of it I can't do because I'm hurt and I'm injured, and so it became overly frustrating to try to deal with the injury. With 2 years of not getting hit, of not dealing with an injury, likely healed up from everything that's gone wrong with his body, Andrew Luck. I mean, it's not an asinine assertion. I just don't see Andrew Luck wanting to come out of retirement to play football again.
And the fact that you haven't had a peep.
Nothing.
Anywhere.
And he's around.
Not even clickbait.
That's right. And he's around.
I know.
It's not like he's not around. Like he goes to the stadium sometimes, they were saying a couple of years ago.
Still keeps the wing loose?
I don't know.
Even more evidence maybe he's not all out.
Last year he wasn't there because of COVID. But the year before he was hanging around at the stadium.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know he's got other interests. I respect that. And he probably would say no, but you can't tell me that on some level, whether it's through an intermediary, whether it's directly with Andrew himself. I mean, you have to at least gauge the possibility of a return.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and if that hasn't already been done, I'd be stunned.
I'm sure it has been. It has to have been.
I think so. And I'm sure that they've been shot
somebody
down.
In the front office, and he's just saying, look, I'm not playing anymore.
I'm trying every day.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm trying every day. Mike, did you find any quotes? Because let's interpret these words. You're probably right, especially him. We've had him on the show. Mm-hmm. He's wired in an oddly, not in a bad way, unique. Not so odd. That's a negative. I don't mean odd. In a very unique way, where he doesn't need football. That's very apparent. The guy had a flip phone, not into social media. I mean, he's a unique cat. But let's interpret these words, and they are just words. But this is what did he say when he retired? Let's get a sense. Take us back. Andrew Luck's done with football. Read the words. What did he say, Samter?
So this is from August 25th, 2019, when he officially hung them up. Mm-hmm. I can actually read the words, and I actually have a few cuts from Andrew Luck if you want to listen to his actual words.
Yeah, read it first, and then we'll definitely hear from him, sure.
It's not an easy decision. Honestly, it's the hardest decision of my life.
Already
the
conflicted.
The last 4 years, I've been in this cycle of injury, pain, rehab, and it's been unceasing, unrelenting, both in season and off season. I feel stuck in it. The only way to get out is no longer to play football.
He's healthy now. So it wasn't about, I have lost my passion for the game, my spark, my zest, my love with football, my teammates competing. I'm hurt.
It was a cycle of pain and rehab.
I'm hurt.
Yes.
And I have not had a chance to regenerate physically. Now he has.
That's right. And he's 30. He's only 31.
He's a young man still.
Right?
31, 32 max. He's not more than that.
No. The question is, has he stayed? Like it's hard as a quarterback to just walk into a facility if you're not football sharp. Like you haven't been following it, you haven't been dialed in, you haven't been physically working out, so your body just isn't prepared to take hits or change of direction. All these things that we know are necessary for a football player. So if he's been doing that even on a minor scale, like just going for a jog every week or so, or still lifting weights, and you know that, and you're the Colts, you're absolutely calling Andrew Luck. You have to.
Yeah, I would think that it would be easiest, not even easier, easy. I'm going to go with easiest, outside of maybe an offensive lineman, where you can be relatively stagnant for a couple of years, provided you walk away early. Now, if you walk away late, and then you try to come back in your early 40s, late 30s, that's different. But when you leave the game in your late 20s and you're still in your early 30s, unless he's put on 20 or 30 pounds of non-functional weight, which I'm sure he hasn't, you have 2 weeks to get the arm in shape. He doesn't have to be the athlete he once was. He'll still be 10 times the athlete Phillip Rivers was a year ago. Because Phillip Rivers one of the slowest quarterbacks in the last 30 years.
That's right.
Guy never ran.
No.
So the more I think about this, Mike, do you have any more cuts so we can continue to decipher why he is why he is not returning? I think he's going to come back and play football. I really don't think that, but I want to think that.
We just haven't heard a peep out of him.
No, we haven't.
Nothing. Now, he's not, and again, you mentioned this.
No news is good news.
He literally has a flip phone. So he's not posted on Twitter. He's not putting shots on Instagram of him doing whatever, working out. He's not doing any of that. He doesn't talk to anybody. There's no media friends that are just saying, hey, maybe Andrew would do this. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah, like Rodgers and McAfee, boys.
Exactly.
Where I get you.
Right, there's little inklings that leak out, or if someone just happens to slip to some reporter or the beat writer for the Indianapolis Colts, there's a chance that he might consider it. Right, we haven't heard any of that for 2 years. We haven't heard anything. He's basically fell off the face of the football earth.
Yes,
Andrew Luck did, and for us to expect him to come back is probably a pipe dream.
Yeah, I get you.
But if you're the Colts and you're desperate, as they are right now, I mean, they have to be desperate right now with Carson Wentz banged up and having as good of a team as they know that they have with the high expectations, you do whatever it takes. Right? There's no rules in this. There's nothing saying that it can happen. So you might as well take a shot at it.
Let me ask you this: when you messed around and thought about coming back with the Dolphins, how did you feel physically when you got on the field with the Dolphins?
I felt great. I just wasn't in shape to change directions nonstop.
How long would it have taken you to get in shape to do that?
3 weeks.
Exactly.
It's just because I was in shape, strong. I was physical, cardio strong, but changing directions is a hard hustle, man.
Understood. Andrew Luck's not really doing that.
He's not doing that.
Protect him for a couple weeks.
At least you hope you can.
You hope you
all
can.
The running and everything else is what got him in trouble in the first place, right? Getting banged around from being so athletic as a quarterback. So
no doubt.
The likelihood of Frank Reich asking him to do that is slim. So could he do it? Of course he could.
Yeah.
The only question is, does he want to?
I think he might be a better option than Carson Wentz at this point. Forget about Phillip Rivers.
You're probably right. You're absolutely right.
Their best option.
Look, there was nothing negative about Andrew Luck, from his game.
Nothing.
I mean, maybe just he didn't take care of himself physically. But that also
meaning what in the workout or when he not slide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Just being tough, and that's why he's such a great leader for that team. But I mean. It wasn't all his fault, though. The offensive line was bad then.
No, I know.
The offensive line is good now, really good now.
Well, the organization was terrible. Think about who was their old, not Pace. Who was their old general manager?
I'm forgetting.
Not Ballard, obviously. Now, their old general manager was an offensive lineman in I think at Purdue. forgetting his name right now. And for years, we're like, dude, you played offensive line in college. How could you not protect Andrew Luck?
And they never drafted offensive linemen.
Never.
Ever.
And then they bring in Quentin Nelson, obviously new regime.
Yeah.
By the way, Ryan Grigson, it was the general manager's name. There you go, Ryan Grigson. There you go. All right, well, listen, probably not going to happen. But the point remains, when Phillip Rivers comes out and says, I'm not necessarily done with football, that should not necessarily galvanize Colts fans. What it should do to me is inspire the Colts themselves to beg the guy that we just heard from. At least kick the tires and get a sense. But again, you hear that back from 2019. It does seem like he's done, but you never know.